Good evening and welcome to the Janaea Netball Centre for the final round of the Opens Premier League. Tonight on the show court, the GWS Fury fight to hang on to third place, while the Manly Warringah Sapphires look to finish their season on a good note. It's the time of season where everyone's math skills are tested as we try to work out who's still in contention for finals and how those equations could play out. As it stands, the Fury and North Shore United sit tied for points in third and fourth spot. Just for and against separates them. But the Sutherland Stingrays in fifth could sneak inside that top four and make things really messy if both the Fury and United were to lose tonight. Or if they win by a really large margin and United lose. So there's a couple of things to play out there. Meanwhile, we know the other team here on the show court tonight, the Sapphires, will play their final game for 2019 in round 14. But sometimes these teams are just as dangerous because they've simply got nothing to lose. Here to help me with all the maths and to keep an eye up on those other courts so we can keep you up to date with what's going on is English Rose and Swift's defensive coach, Sonia McCloma. Welcome back, Sonia.
Hey, Britt, glad to be here. And like you said, it's going to be a tough contested game today, especially with the Furies trying to hang on to that third position against North Shore. So it'll be one to watch. And also, it's Megan O'Keefe's 50th game. Yeah,
she actually started the game in centre with the ball in hand, so that was pretty exciting for her.
Yeah, so I reckon their team's going to be playing for her tonight and with a lot of passion. So we'll see how they go.
It's interesting, they've got a 50 made out in balloons hiding behind their bench, and I was saying to them, you should put them somewhere we can see them on the broadcast, and they said, well, she might not make it out on court yet, but I think they were toying with us.
Yeah, they move them up, so they get the Fury up by 2 already, so they've got something to prove today.
The Sapphires as well have about 7 players out with injury and sickness, so they've been borrowing under 23s players. So fairly depleted tonight, but what is exciting is we see both the O'Shaughnessy sisters at the back there.
Yeah, and it's good to see, like it's always good to see Tegan out on the court and playing strong and playing with her sisters, so it'll be a good combination, especially because you know that Fury do have Christina Bryce on their bench, so waiting to come on, so we'll see how this all plays out.
Surprised to see her not start tonight, but obviously, you know, they've got 2 other shooters that are great there in Elridge and Friketic, and Friketic actually shot at 100% last week, 21 from 21, so looking forward to seeing more of what she can do tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And this is better ball movement by the Fury down the court, just finding the space, and also with the ball placement, they're being very patient in their play.
Elridge bouncing to O'Keefe. And Friketic just popping out at the right time.
Yeah, Tegan's head was just down at that last minute, so when the ball came in, so well-placed ball.
We've also got Tilly McDonnell out on court in goal defence. Giants player.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be a massive height difference between Lawrence Cantwell and Matilda O'Donnell, so we'll see how that goes as well. We know Cantwell is a great mover, great speed, and a very experienced player, so, you know, Matilda's going to have her work cut out for her today, I think.
I was expecting Chrissy Bryce to start and the Fury to start with a holding shooting combo, you know, with her under the post, but they've actually got a moving one similar to what the Sapphires do at the other end of the court.
Yeah, and you're noticing, you know, you're going back to these rotating circles, which a lot of these defenders have come through with a big tall holding shooter, which they can play against. So I think from the Fury side, I think it's actually quite a smart move to put in a rotating shooter, because a lot of these defenders, especially the new ones coming through, have not played against this kind of circle before. And that was a great tip.
From Radford.
Yeah, so it was good to see her feet moving and getting around and getting her hand on that ball. So Cantwell, the smallest in the holding the screen against Matilda McDonald there for Georgia Marshall, and a greatly placed pass.
We've mentioned before in our broadcast that she's one of the hardest working players on court, so don't let her size deter you watching back home. Swinging into the pocket now, Marshall, that's Lawrence, sorry, just giving it to the other team, so there's a turnover early here. It's actually been to and fro quite a lot, considering that the Fury had a little lead and now we're back within 1.
Yeah, and both teams are playing into this pocket and working the triangles to get that ball in, and that was a nicely played ball from
Jamie Mann.
Yeah.
Good triangle there.
And then we see another screen from the attack end, so the smaller players are putting on the screen to create that space in the front ends.
Swinging to the pocket now, they find Friketic. Again with a split stance and that trademark overarch of the back as she takes a shot.
Yeah, and again, they're just finding, so the shooter's just popping forward at the last minute. Just Matilda McDonald just caught for breaking offside, so another advantage for the Manly Sapphires.
Lawrence to the top, and Miller with the penalty. Will go to Marshall with a great feed over the top of the defender's head.
Yeah, and like you said, Annie Miller's from one of the under-23 teams, and she's very confident out there. And she's up against Georgia Cottle, so she's also quite young as well. So it'd be a great matchup to see how these two both go throughout the game.
The exciting news we found out this week too, that 2 new franchises will be joining the Premier League next year. The South Coast Blaze, which will be backed by the Illawarra Kiama and Shoalhaven Netball Associations. And we've also got Capital Spirit joining in, as we see a great intercept at the back there from Radford. And the Capital Spirit will be owned and operated by Netball ACT. So expanding next year.
Yeah, it's good because, like you said, there's a lot of players out there who are missing out due to numbers. So it'd be good to see New South Wales continue to develop their talent.
I was even talking to Mel Clark, who's coach of the Sapphires in the Opens, and saying, you know, it'll be good for you because you travel up from Canberra all the time. She said, well, you know, I'm here with the Sapphires, so she's not even thinking about that at that stage. But there is a lot of talent that travel up here from Canberra, whether it be coaches or players.
Yeah, and it's tiring. And that's a great give and go between Frettick and Natalie Eldridge and playing into second, creating that space. So the connection between the Shaughnessy sisters isn't there as yet. So I think as the game goes on, I'm expecting that to get better and better.
Well, they don't often
what a
get
great
to play
tip
together.
by Tilly McDonald, and smart, unlucky, just wasn't able to land it.
Now, before I forget, I also want to just give a shout out to our umpires tonight, because usually we make it all about the women, but we have 3 umpires here for the men. So Michael Rudd and Hayden McKay are our main umpires here, and reserve is Anton Stulhilski. So brilliant to see men getting involved in our game at this high level.
Yeah, it always is. You know, you normally see them out on the SSN court, so obviously coming through, they come through somewhere, so obviously it's through the Premier League and the lower grades, so good to see them advancing.
Very loopy shot from Elridge, but it takes the Fury to 9.
Yeah, and the Fury's circle, they're finding a lot of space in their attacking circle. It's something that the Sapphires are going to have to shut down. Oh, a little twinge there from Miller. Oh, good touch by Cottle, but called back by the umpire for the contact call. And another great feed into Marshall. So Miller's very comfortable right now on the edge of the circle, at the top of the circle, and finding Marshall under the post.
She doesn't look like a player that's playing up, does she?
No, she doesn't. She seems very settled in her role.
Strong ball from O'Keefe to Elridge, top of the circle with Mann, and the strong passing of Fury has been a standout so far.
Yeah, their attack ends have been very sharp, and like you said, they are using the triangles and they're executing it well, so they're taking these drives and letting the ball do the work. So again, turnover and great pick up by Matilda McDonald. Just a misplaced ball pass by Johns there, and then a bit of a kick too. Bit of a rugby playing ways coming back into the game, I think. Eldred again, just at the top, front of the post. Long range and no issues. Yeah, she seems very comfortable on her shots. It's something that the Sapphires are going to have to work on and shutting down. So the Fury attacking, happy to go back for their centre passes and work the ball. Cottle to man, overhead they go to Elridge, now outside that circle. Yeah, again, the attacker's on the edge of the circle and the shooter's just popping forward. So Eldridge is getting very comfortable. She's got a great shot right now. She started off the game very well. Considering she didn't play last week too, it's straight back to business for her. Yeah, but also something to prove, you know, the end of the season, girls looking to get re-signed with their clubs and prove that they're worth being out on that court. So it's good to see her stepping up in this game. Marshall, mid-range, missed. Tilly McDonald straight on that loose ball, but they regather, and now Cantwell, she'll finish the job. Yeah, Tilly just she just tapped that out, and I reckon she probably could have grabbed that with 2 hands, so I think she'll be thinking about that next time that ball comes off on a rebound. Oh, that was so lucky. O'Keefe. Yeah, lucky pick up, but picked up by Johns and cleaned up. So let's see how Sapphires advance down the court. Marshall coming out to help at the top, again to Marshall. And just overcooked pass to Ali Miller, but the contact's been called, so they'll get a second chance. Sonia, why do we see it so often that a player will take an intercept and throw it straight back to the other player? Is because, you know, they're so surprised they've taken it, they're not set in their moments and haven't got the
plan in place?
Yeah, sometimes a bit of the adrenaline. You know, you get the interception, they might be off balance. So it's just that inability at that moment to control their feet and trying to get the pass out. So it does take practice, and it's something that you do actually train and practice at doing.
How do you practice the spontaneity of it, though?
You do, there's drills in which you throw the ball out and get the girls kind of just reacting, holding the ball off one foot, practicing getting your balance on one foot. So a lot of these girls would have been brought up in that environment. So it's just the adrenaline of the interception and the excitement of it and just a lack of control. Oh, great tip from O'Shaughnessy. And the Sapphires they're just trying to get the ball down the court really quickly, which they do. There's Marshall, great feed off to Brooke Lawrence, and a good hold by Marshall.
Left-hand side of the post, and Marshall takes Manly to 8. So she did a lot of the heavy lifting last week. 26 goals from 28 at 93%. I think you'd be happy with your shooter to be in the 90s, wouldn't you, Sonia?
Yeah, definitely. And she always has been a stand-up for that team, and, you know, she's always doing her job and doing it well. So, you know, they're always lucky to have Georgia Marshall at the back there.
Lawrence with the centre pass to Cantwell. She goes. Now Miller on this left-hand channel. Goes to Marshall. Top of the circle is Lawrence. And now in with Cantwell. Up and in. Got a spring about her at the moment.
Yeah, I think the Sapphires are starting to settle down a little bit in their attack end and just finding their space and the space around the edge of the circle better.
Strong hard ball from O'Keefe to Mann. Oh, and trying to go back. Lawrence gets a little hands in it, but Fury will hang on to possession. It's a really great matchup between Freketic and O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah, it is, and I think O'Shaughnessy's definitely marking her a bit better. There's a bit more hustle, so the Fury attackers are finding less space now in the circle as this quarter's going on, which means the combination between the O'Shaughnessy sisters is starting to solidify.
Well, the last time they played in the first round of the competition, they were up 26-8 by 18 goals in the first quarter, the Fury. So not as strong tonight here, and it's good to see that Sapphires are giving them a little bit more to deal with.
Yeah, they're just working the ball around again. So that was lucky. That was nearly a misplaced pass. So Sapphires were able to get that back and put the shot away through Marshall.
I spoke about the 7 players the Sapphires are missing through illness and injury at the moment, but Fury are actually missing a big key player for them tonight too, as we see Sapphires turnover ball here in that Abby McFadden's been in hospital, unfortunately, with a bad virus, and looks like she might not join back with them for the rest of the season just as she recovers. So that's a real blow for them, but they're lucky they've got 3 other strong shooters there to do the job. Yeah,
definitely. Oh, just a missed shot under the post by Georgia Marshall, but all 3 of them fighting for the rebounds, and Marshall comes out with it. The only person not in that contest was Campbell, and I think she realised.
No point.
With the land of the Giants up there, yeah. But it was good that Sapphires, and especially when the shooter comes out with that rebound.
So Sapphires centre, Cantwell straight out for it.
Yeah, and Sapphires just within 3 now, so they're slowly just nicking away at the Fury team.
He pie pass to Miller, and up in the air, Marshall, long arms. Can't contain it, but she'll get the penalty here.
And I think Miller held her space very well on that top of the circle, and that feed, and she's very confident in that feed into Marshall, so she's being very smart in what she's doing in her attacking play.
Oh, they were really stuck for a centre pass option then. Man inside. Oh, in the air to O'Keefe. That was a nice pass. Coming back to reset. Running out now is Freketic.
Yeah, so Fury just finding... Yeah, they're just struggling a bit more now to get to the circle edge and find space in the circle. So the Sapphires defence end, and they come up with the interception. And that was great work defensively. They shut down the space. They kept both attackers off the circle edge. And inside the circle, they contained both shooters. So I think they deserve to come up with it. And hopefully their shooters can put that goal away for them.
How often does this happen to you, Sonia? We just saw Tegan O'Shaughnessy deflect the ball as she was running through, and then because you've got momentum, you want to grab the ball again. So she's running all the way as an option, but obviously didn't get it again. But
yeah, but it's always good for a goal defence and the wing defence to be options. And again, the Sapphires are finding space and finding high ball through to Georgia Marshall. So I think that's definitely something that the Fury will look at.
And we're level, 14 apiece, 1:30 to play in this opening quarter.
Oh. She saw it, she had a chance, she just got caught a little bit behind the body. So always good to see a goalkeeper coming out and looking for those interceptions outside the circle.
One defender outside, Fury able to take advantage.
Yeah, and that's just a sloppy defensive play by O'Shaughnessy. But Freketic held her space very well. I think when she started moving, she got in trouble. This last ball coming through, she actually held her position strong, and it was easier to get the ball in. So hopefully she continues to do that.
A smooth passage of play for Manly. And Cantwell, she's nailing those long bombs tonight.
Yeah, and that was good defensive pressure over the ball from Matilda McDonald, so it was good for Cantwell to put that shot away.
There's been a few passes now where the Fury have found the Sapphires' hands, and it's been a deflection that's either led to turnover or they've had to back up and get the ball again. So might have to look at their passes and maybe just thinking 1 second longer before they release the ball.
And I think the Sapphires, like I said, they've actually, their defense centre started to gel now and come into their own, and their Fury not finding the space they were finding in the first 10 minutes of that quarter.
Under 23s on the bench, ready to come on if they're needed. Oh, good contest in the air then between Cottle and Johns.
Yeah, and good tidy up by Radford.
Airborne was O'Keefe, strong to Elridge. Cottle to Mann. Now stuck for that second phase.
Yeah, they're just getting stuck. So the defensive pressure for a Manly now at the top is just slowing up this Fury attack ends. So they've just got to be more patient and wait for the space to open up, which it does at the top. And Eldridge there under the post.
That was a much more desperate passage of play from them, but they waited out and waited for the right option to come through. So they score on the buzzer, and we're 16 apiece at the quarter break. It's been a pretty good opening quarter, Sonia.
Yeah, it definitely has, and I think Sapphires did well to come back and find their own and get into their own groove there.
Do you think Fury will make changes this early on in the game?
I wouldn't expect it. I don't think they need to panic as yet. I think what they're going to have to do is actually just coach the girls and have a chat to them about what they're doing, what's changed in the play. What was working for that circle wasn't that moving circle. So the fact that they stopped hold and then popped through at the last minute, that was working for their attack end. So I think that's something that Jenny O'Keefe is probably going to address them and speak to them about that.
Do you think there was a little bit of panic from them as things started to turn and the momentum shifted? They went back to, well, they started actually doing something different, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it looks like, just looking at their bench now, there has been a change. So they've put on Chrissy Bryce at the back and moved Andrea Fretic out to goal attack. And like you said, if she's been shooting well, she deserves to stay on the court. And I think, Eldridge was shooting so well. So it's interesting to see why they've made that change so early.
So we mentioned that it's a crucial game tonight because United are also tied on points with Fury. And they're currently in front of the Hawks 19-14 up on another court. The Stingrays, though, they need to win big tonight, and they need to hope that United lose. So they're leading the Panthers 16-10, as you'd expect with Panthers at the bottom of the ladder. And then up on the last court, the Central Coast Heart leading the Sparks 19-10. So a big second quarter coming up here on the show court. Stick with us on Bar TV, and we'll bring up the ladder so you can have another look at that while we wait. Heading out for the second quarter in the final round of the Opens competition. Our teams are locked at 16 apiece, Manly and the Fury.
Yeah, and changes to the Fury team. So they brought Claire Longy back into goalkeeper and put Cassandra Radford to the bench. And also they brought on Christina Bryce as goal shooter at the other end, put in Natalie Eldridge to the bench and moving Angela Frettick out to goal attack.
So just changing the bookends.
Yeah.
Would you have expected that?
No, I wouldn't. I think there was a little panic then in how they were playing. So they're still struggling to get the ball in now, and the momentum's slowed down for their attacking end. So they've been a bit more patient. But there's that big target at the end. And the first miss of the night.
Ball won by O'Shannessy, and here come the Sapphires. Cantwell to Marshall. Oh, strong pass to Lawrence overhead, and I don't think she was expecting it, hence the step.
Yeah, and that was good pressure for Longy to cause the step in Marshall, which you don't really see much. So both shooters trying to settle early on in this quarter.
Oh, that was a bit of a throw it and hope it ends up where it needs to be passed.
Yeah, just lacked a little power, so they pay the price for that. But a missed shot by Cantwell under the post, and Longy gets the rebound.
And that's where the height disadvantages you a little bit, because Yongi was straight up in the air for that one. Although I think it would have been a replay had she collected it anyway, because it didn't touch the net. Oh, nice front cut from Frettick. Just steadying herself now for the shot. And they score first in this second quarter. We went up and back a bit before the first goal.
Yep, so Fury just settled. So defensively now, let's see what they can do to get this ball turned over.
Moving close to the post with a penalty. And Marshall in the air. Fury sandwich.
Yeah, and that was a great challenge by Claire Yongi, and I thought Marshall actually got the last touch on that. So not to be, though, but it's good to see the defenders getting up in the air, contesting that.
O'Keefe with the centre pass. Overhead man. And it comes off the hand of Frettick. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, but that was great by Holly O'Shannessy to come out of there and put the pressure on that receive. Just couldn't really settle it and wasted ball. But her coming out to fly for that just put the attacker off. So, like I said before, it's good to see her being confident to come out for these balls.
McDonald. And a penalty with Cottle now.
Yeah, and I think both teams are just kind of pumping this ball, so both teams just need to relax and settle down.
Strong feed from Mann into Chrissy Bryce. And she pretty much slam dunks it in. 18-17, 1 goal difference. Strong in the air is Marshall. Now Lawrence swings to Miller.
Yeah, nearly got a touch of that by Cottle, and again Claire Longy all over that. So she's having a good touch and move around with Georgia Marshall. So you see Matilda McDonald just off a little bit off the body, so looking for these high balls that might come in. And both defenders are out there hunting, forcing these shooters into long shots, which they weren't doing previously.
Iongi too is a player that really could play under 23. She's played for New South Wales at the state championships already this year.
Yeah,
so she's one of young.
Yeah, she's one of the younger ones, part of the A&L team, and all credit to her. She had a great season for Waratahs this year. Misplaced ball, Frettick, like we said before, I knew she was holding previously, but now she's holding for too long, and man just couldn't place that ball into her. But Sapphires advanced down that court very quickly. Contact called, and Longy just hugging Georgia Marshall.
They're all friends out there.
I know.
So Manly back up, 19-18. And here's a centre to play for them here. Miller. Tries to give it to Cantwell. That really should have probably been a replay.
Yeah, and it was definitely a replay by Georgia Marshall. You kind of sat on the ball. It was like an Easter egg, wasn't it? So I think that was a fair call by the umpire. She actually did touch it first, and then it bounced, and she had to make a decision. And she was hovering over it.
Rocket pass.
What a great pass by Matilda, but also by O'Keefe to catch that and hold on to that, and finding Chrissy Bryce at the end.
Lovely passage of play from the Fury. And they make it 19. We're back level.
Another strong drive by Angela Frettick, but Megan O'Keefe didn't like what she saw, so they released it and played it back. And a great ball into Christina Bryce.
So we mentioned she's a holding shooter, but she has got a bit more movement about her game, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. And, she's been overseas in New Zealand. She's obviously been in the Giants SSN environment, so she's got a lot of experience behind her. So it's definitely just good to see her out on the court and see how she's playing out there, especially in home soil in New South Wales.
Here's a question for you. As Tilly McDonald takes a great intercept, reading the ball really well then, should some of these Premier League teams have capped amount of Super Netball players in that, because we see them come in and out and they're not there for the full time of the competition, but some of them are stacked full of the A&L and Super Netball players.
Yeah, good question. I think I would say no. And I think just based on the fact that these girls need to play. You look at the likes of Matilda McDonald, who's an SSM player, and they're not getting as much court time. Tegan O'Shaughnessy's coming back from injury. She needs to get on court. They actually need to be playing netball. And I think what happens is as the girls move up the ranks sometimes, as they move up, they actually sit on benches at the higher levels, and then if they're not in teams in the lower levels, they actually won't get court time. So I think it's important for them to be able to play at Premier League and just to play netball. A lot of these girls miss out on just playing.
Well, that's true. Where else would they play?
Exactly. And especially with SSM being a professional enterprise, and you know, it's about, for the coaches, it's about winning. You know, development and exposure's only a small part of that, but at the end of the day, you know, franchises need the win. Oh, that was a great positioning by Holly O'Shaughnessy to get front position on Bryce, and that ball just fell a little bit short to contest that. She nearly get taken out too, but it was good to see her get up.
Well, the Sapphires were up a short time ago, but now the Fury have got a little 2-goal lead, and they're eager to bring it back one.
Yeah.
Lawrence with a throw in here on the sideline.
Yeah, and that was just a bad place pass by Cantwell. Just needed to kind of change, whether put a higher ball in or a lower ball, and it just went straight into the defender's hands. So both teams and players just been erratic. Again, Cantwell with the pass, and Claire Longy punishes her for that. So Sapphires will get another go at this, but right now her pass is just flat and one-directional.
Miller with the throw in. Bounces to Cantwell, and with a front cut, Marshall finds a really nice space, misses the shot though, and it does come off the hand of Tilly McDonald. Iongi and McDonald are full of deflections and little tips, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're such a great combination together. You know, previous years they were in A&L together, and they both did an amazing job. It was, ironically though, they both played the other way around, so different positions, but
flipped.
Yeah, but they both do a great job, and they read off each other well, and they enjoy playing with each other. So I think that was a smart move, putting a combination of girls out there that know each other.
So Cantwell with free shot, free pass here, offloads to Marshall, and she'll take them back level. 22 apiece again. So this has been a great game considering it's 3rd v6, Sonia.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Fury knew that it wasn't going to be an easy walk in the park against the Sapphires, and Sapphires are not going to go down without a fight. So if Fury want this, they're going to have to work hard, especially with North Shore up there, up against the Hawks.
Johns, pocket rocket herself, chasing hard for the ball, but it ends up being a Fury throw-in. Mann coming to O'Keefe now. Quick work back to Mann. Oh, and hands from O'Shaughnessy spoil the party because it comes off Chrissy Bryce in the end.
Yeah, Chrissy Bryce just couldn't control that. It was interesting. She came out the circle, and they started a slowly moving, rotating circle, but they just couldn't. The pass they gave probably should have gone to Frektik, and it just went across big to O'Shaughnessy, who sent up. And Matilda McDonald again read that beautifully and came out for an interception. So she's definitely finding her way in this game.
O'Keefe keeps it in play. It was nice work on the sideline. End-to-end netball here. Fury penalty just on the transverse line. Mann straight to Bryce, and they're not going to muck around when she's free.
Yeah, and that was a great quick ball by Mann, so it was good to see her being confident enough to give that in.
Lawrence looking in.
Just great defensive pressure from the Fury, just holding up their attack end, just couldn't find their space. Can Georgia hold it in?
Wow.
What a great pass by Georgia, good balance.
Good
What
reflexes.
we spoke about, that's what they work on in training.
Yeah.
That's the one.
All the tricky stuff.
Yeah. The 1%ers, and a great touch by
Still in play.
Tegan O'Shaughnessy.
Nice work by Mann just to fake with the front option and then elect to go to the back.
Yes, I think both teams defensively are up in the pressure, so the attack ends are just having to work. And again, Matilda McDonald on over everything in the centre passes.
Hand coming through the back. Off the hands of a Fury defender again. So deflections galore in this back line as Marshall steadies and takes another shot.
Yeah, but that was definitely a great pass, and passing by Annie Miller. So just finding the space, Georgia, and putting it a bit far away so Claire Long couldn't get a touch to it. So we've got a goal attack out of the circle. Yeah, that was a good touch by Holly O'Shaughnessy. Just couldn't get her second hand onto that, and Chrissy Bryce just plucked that out of the air from her.
Well, the Fury are going to have to be careful with those loopy feeds in because O'Shaughnessy's got height. As soon as she's up in the air, she's straight on that ball.
Yeah, definitely. And like we said, we can see their attacking are taking longer to get this ball into the front, bringing Frektik back out the circle. So they've got 3 attackers outside the circle trying to work the ball in.
Man riding hard. Oh, that was almost 3 seconds there.
Yeah, good pressure on the centre pass, forcing the Fury attacking to go back. Oh, Johns challenged that cleanly, so she stays in play. Brooke Lawrence just working to keep Megan O'Keefe off the circle edge.
Frektik open. Now she finds Chrissy Bryce and unfortunately loses balance because of a little bump from O'Shaughnessy, I'd say. Now Frektik on the left-hand side of the post to take the penalty. And we're still going 1 up, then level, then 1 up, then level, son.
Yes, this game's going to go down to the wire. I think if both teams can just hang on.
It's a good crowd building here considering we've got a massive game coming up in the under-23 straight after this. Lovely shot from Cantwell, swish through the net. It'll be first v third. If they can set the platform with a good game here.
Yeah, definitely, especially because now you see that Manly do have a lot of the 23s on their bench, so hopefully these girls won't play or they're not able to play for half the game so that they're eligible to play for the 23s in the next game.
Miller overhead to Marshall, they swing, Lawrence elects to go to Marshall at the back.
Yeah, and that was a good pass by Brooke Lawrence, and Matilda McDonald just couldn't get up for that one, so something she'll look at as the game progresses.
3 minutes 30 till half time. Cottle to Frektik. Looks left, looks right, heads to O'Keefe, and the 2 clash in the air.
I think it was their heads that actually hit, considering there's a massive height difference. But again, Megan was fine to get up on her 50. Again, going to be injured on your 50th, yeah.
Nope.
So she just shook it off and got on with it.
The other thing that doesn't come into play so much in Super Netball, but we may see more of in the coming years with the intensity all the time of it, increasing, is concussion. And what happens, does a player come off with concussion? Because especially Jamie Lee Price at the World Cup, she had about 4 or 5 collisions with the head during the tournament, and she is a strong and tough player, but surely she would have been rattled a little bit there.
Yeah, and I think, as soon as girls get any hits to the head, it's so important. Great
one fair and square.
Tegan, just on 1 foot there. So glad that she was able to get that off to Brooke, and hopefully they can capitalise on that end. Yeah, but talking about concussions, I guess, it is responsibility. A lot of physios nowadays are very clued up. So any head injuries, bangs, knocks, it's straight to the doctors, get x-rays, get this whole thing checked out. And if there's a suspect, even a suspected concussion, these girls will be sidelined for a week. So I think it's so important because it's your brain, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
So it's important that that duty of care is kind of followed through and maintained.
Marshall swinging to Miller. Quick work from the Sapphires here. Can Cantwell finish the job?
Just couldn't, just put off by the jump of Iongi. But Marshall finishes it off for her.
So Manly now out with a 2-goal lead, 30-28.
Yeah, this game is seesawing.
Plucked out of the air then by Cottle.
So Frektik back out the circle again, just trying to move and create space for Bryce on the one-on-one.
But everyone was in the same hole then, wasn't they? On the one side of the court as well.
Yeah, and I think if Holly O'Shaughnessy's should probably just stayed a little bit longer, that ball would have gone. It's just committed a bit too far out at that point. So that's a knee call from Matilda McDonald. She didn't like that very much.
And you don't often see a knee call, would you?
No, I think it's how these girls run. And their high knees in the warm-up.
Well, she's a lot taller than Cantwell as well. So.
Yeah, it probably was, yeah.
Man, strong high.
Yeah.
And Chrissy Bryce, a step.
And that's a coach killer. But that was much better. From their attack end, that was a much better transition into Bryce to finding the space, and they moved the ball and they moved themselves much better. So let's see if defensively they can work back. There's definitely a height difference between their whole attack end. And those was great hands by Chrissy Bryce, because I think Holly O'Shaughnessy could not see anything there. So that was a throw and hope pass. So Brooke Lawrence again at the top and Georgia Marshall under the post.
1 step ahead the Sapphires in that passage of play. And now they're up by 3, 32-29 with 30 seconds on the clock. A chance to go another here. Oh, that was not a good pass from Marshall.
Yeah, just rushed it and overcooked it into that pocket again to try and set up play for herself. So probably should have taken her time, swung and opened up and seen all her options.
Clock ticking down towards half time. Man, strong and hard. That's a brilliant feed. Can they get it in time? Yep, they do. So back within 2 with 2 seconds to go.
Yeah, they won't get another shot at this. Oh, and Megan O'Keefe just misread that. Jamie Mann didn't even come over the line because she knew the clock was counting down. So it will definitely be Sapphires send a pass in the second half.
So 32-30, we were locked at 16 apiece at quarter time. Who's the momentum with, Sonia? It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's definitely switching and swinging. I think, Fury went through phases where they got the momentum back in, which brought them back into the game, and then their attacking got stuck again. So I actually think both teams, it's this battle of the defenders, and I think O'Shaughnessy's tightened up what they were doing with the likes of Brooke Lawrence and Jamie Johns at the front. They actually slowed down and stopped the Fury attackers getting onto the top of the circle. Down the other end, inside the circle, the pressure done by Matilda McDonald and Claire Young, he just forced their shooters to take longer shots, so they had to play the ball around a bit more. And sometimes Georgia Marshall was drawn out the circle. So I think both backends across the teams are doing a great job at holding up the attackers.
I'm just looking at these three. Oh, if we can switch back, guys, that'd be good. Just looking at these three under 23 players here. One's got drink, one's got fruit, one's got lollies. So you can just do anything you can to help out when you're in that situation on the bench. But who would you rather be out of these three? I think I'd rather have the packet of lollies to me.
Yeah, and I say, we say these young ones need to wait and earn their stripes, and this is part of it. Do the hard labour first, and you earn your position on the court.
All right, as you were. Sorry, guys. So we switch to the Fury here. A lot more serious discussions happening, and you can see Amy Parmenter with a Fury jumper on too.
I didn't realise she was with the Fury.
Used to play with the UTS St George Sparks a couple of years ago now, but I think with Jenny O'Keefe there, it makes sense for a lot of these Giants players because assistant coach at Super Netball Giants and then going down to Fury, it's consistent for them when it comes to their coaching.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting, we see Cassandra Rathwood with a wing defence bib on, so it looks like Georgia Cottle might be coming to the bench in the second half. And that might not be a bad idea. I think Annie Miller's finding a lot of space around the circle, not as much as she did in the first quarter, but she's having a great run in that wing attack position, and that her feeds into Georgia Marshall spot on. So if they can slow her feeds down, more mistakes will definitely come.
All right, well, we're going to take a break at half time, and we'll be back with you for the championship quarter. Sapphires up 32-30. Just 2 goals separate these teams at halftime. Manly leading the Fury 32-30.
And only one change for the Sapphires, bringing on in the goal defence position. Oh, what's her name?
Maddie Melville.
Maddie Melville from the under-23s.
Quick work from them, eager to get on the board. And we saw some changes for Fury as well. Radford, as you mentioned before, coming on in wing defence.
Oh, and that's a big boy ball by Matilda. I'm getting my tongue tied. A big ball by Matilda McDonald into.
I thought you said that was a big boy. I went, well, it's some way of calling it.
Yeah, it was a big ball into Bryson. Well seen and well placed.
Lawrence with the centre pass to Cantwell, fighting through Tilly McDonald, and it comes off the hands of Miller. So Fury get a throw in here.
Yeah, just a misplaced ball by Cantwell. Just couldn't see over the arms. And like we said, that height difference is starting to come into play now. So hopefully that's something they use.
Radford, coming through is O'Keefe. Good contest for the ball. Driving hard is Frakatic. She goes to O'Keefe.
And that's better. The attacker's just been a bit more patient and getting to the top of the circle. And great ball from Megan, from Jamie Mam.
Something we saw from the Fury then, Son, was they were driving on angles but always into that middle space. So in the end it did head down through the middle channel, but they were coming from all angles of the court.
Yeah, so they're just creating space. Instead of clogging the middle spaces, which is where they want the ball, you've got to come out and drive into that space. And again, another ball into Chrissy Price into the same spot. And another finish, so the Fury are now level. So that's a great start from the Fury.
Quick turnaround, especially since the Sapphires scored first. Miller bouncing to Marshall. Stuck for an option, she swings to the pocket. Now to the top, again stuck, coming back to Miller. Cantwell still trying to find space. It comes over the back line, Sapphires throw in. With a front cut now, Cantwell allowed space to take the shot. Long bomb goes in and Manly back in front by 1.
Yeah, and you saw Matilda and O'Longy trying to hold each other up there, and Cantwell was not fazed by that.
Well done by O'Keefe. Presented, ducked away, presented again.
Yeah, that was good for her to get back onto this one. So again, Fury is starting to find Chrissy O'Bryce more easily. And now we're going goal for goal.
See Nadia McDonald and Jenny O'Keefe just chatting there.
And Annie Miller to the top and a ball into Georgia. And that's what she likes. She's great at getting to the top of the circle. And her feed, her high ball into Georgia is well placed. So she's very confident as a young under-23 girl coming through.
Hail Mary thrown by Mann, and it comes off. Bryce strong and hard through that net. 35-35. We're level again.
Yeah, so big ball in. I think the wing attacks are up against each other, saying anything you can do, I can do as well. So not afraid to put that ball up.
Marshall just forcing Lawrence into the pocket. Now coming out herself. Ball won by Tilly McDonald. Prowling at the back.
Yeah, and that was great elevation. And the ball from Marshall was a bit soft there. So if you're going to put it up, you're going to have to put it up against these two girls in the back end.
Long ball from Frakatic. O'Keefe on the edge. And Fury will draw a penalty just as they were trying to come into that circle. Maddie Melville out of play.
Yeah, and that was a great drive from Ange Frederick. And she's been doing that most of the game, that strong drive, which will draw the penalty or open up space for herself. So a big ball into Mann.
Man, all on her own and excited about it. Hip high pass to Frakatic and the feed is good.
Yeah, just Merville's going to have to just get her jumping shoes on, I think, especially because they're getting more confident in putting that ball up. So Fury up by 2.
Marshall outside that circle. Now Miller feeding.
Again, a big ball for Marshall under the post. And defenders trying a little hoist now between Alongi and Matilda. So they're just mixing up and they're confident and not afraid to try stuff new in the circle. Just a video clip of the umpires there, was that?
I was trying to see whether it might be Abby McFadden, but couldn't get the play to turn their head around. Now, what's interesting is we know Marshall and Kent will play a moving circle, but Marshall's having to carry a lot of the load here. She's trying to feed in, but also trying to put the shot up herself because Cantwell's just being swamped by the Fury defence.
Yeah, she is, and you know, at times Marshall's picking and choosing when she does stay in the circle, and that ball went straight to Cantwell. So
proving us wrong.
Yeah, Manly are not holding up, so no one in the circle. Cantwell with the ball, and a penalty called against Radford. So Marshall just trying to set a little screen for herself there, and just the ball just a bit soft by Annie Miller, something we've not seen from her all game.
I think that just shows hesitation, doesn't it, Sonia?
Yeah, definitely.
So looking over.
Again, the ball touched by the defenders in the circle, penalty outside the circle.
Rocks in, Manly take it back level. And here's a centre for them to use here.
Again, Georgia Marshall at the top to play herself, but Cantwell pops through.
Shot missed.
Yeah, and that just went off the hands of Georgia Marshall. So all goes level, 38 apiece.
Iyongi to O'Keefe, looking over, comes back to Iyongi instead.
Yeah, and you can see Fury a bit more hesitant now in their attacking and their feet. So they're actually going side to side a lot from their attack end. So being, I think, overly cautious. Two girls have just collided and gone down. Or they're up.
She was very slow to get up then. I was worried about them both being injured.
Well, Ange Fletcher was down for so long. She looked injured, and then she just got up and sped through and was an option under the post.
Well,
Johns is still rubbing her.
Yeah, she doesn't look good. Might have just rolled the ankle.
Yeah, she's rubbing the other leg. So we'll see what happens when she'll play time. She might be one of the tough ones. And she's back playing. Great. Well read by Holly.
In the air, collected by Johns.
Yeah, nowhere to go.
Dodgy ankle, seems to be okay now.
Yeah, she'll just play it out, run it out. So Georgia Marshall outside the circle, and Cantwell comes in the behind and scoops round for that front ball and finishes the shot. So Manly brings the score back level. Oh, great change of direction by Alison Miller, and a great 1-2 play between her and Georgia Marshall. She could have probably passed that back to Georgia under the post. She was free.
Confident from Cantwell. Manly take the lead. They're up by 1.
Oh, pressure pass. Oh, well done.
That seems to come off though, doesn't it, when Man just cuts out the mess and heads straight to Chrissy Bryce downtown.
Yeah, I think with her, that look at her face was a bit of luck there, because Holly, I think, got a little brush on that pass. So Georgia Marshall again out the middle and then swings it to the pocket. But that was a better movement by her back inside the circle.
This crowd's still building. You can't see them behind us, but it's a large contingent of people.
When you say large, say 50%? It's like a third of the stadium.
More than we normally see.
Yes, definitely. I think the weather's, I said it's the good weather. Brings everyone out to the netball.
It is a lot warmer in here tonight.
Yes, it is, in a good way.
Oh, that option. Oh, Tilly hits the deck.
Oh, yeah, but great call. And Annie Miller to get on with it quickly. So just lost her foot in there.
I think everyone was a bit confused as to what was happening and what the call might be.
I think she was confused. A great
Ball
take
one
of
in
the
the air.
pass.
Man hard to Vrketic.
So again, the Fury attacking, just getting caught passing lateral, just nowhere to go at the moment. And the Manly defenders are back down, double back on Chrissy Bryce, and Merville nearly got a touch on that, so that was a smart play by the youngster coming through.
The timing is everything, isn't it, when you've got players just waiting at the back to take a little intercept?
Yeah, definitely, and I think Merville tried to set it up, and she was close there, so it'd be good to see her to continue with that throughout the game.
Mid-range. Cantwell offloads to Marshall and just edging towards the post. She takes the Manly Warringah Sapphires back up by 1, 43-42. 5.5 to play till the last break of this game. Coming all the way back to the goal third. Oh, and Johns ends up with the ball. Right place, right time. Now Cantwell runs through. Smart play from the Sapphires.
And that was a great ball to Cantwell under the post and well placed by Georgia Marshall. So you see a little smile between the two girls.
Little 2-goal poffer, the chance to make it 3 here. Cantwell comes back to Lawrence, the skipper. Now bouncing to Marshall. Johns has it at the top.
That was a good hold by Marshall. And the Furies might be in for an upset.
Through traffic for Kedic for that centre pass. O'Keefe back to the goal attack.
Yeah, just a bit more patient coming in. But Mann's definitely the feeder right now. She's very confident to give that high ball into Chrissy Bryce.
Now that goal was important, Sonia, because Manly had scored 3 in a row. So to come back and just get an easy, well not easy, but you know, a steady shot through.
Yeah, they definitely need that. They need that steady. And it was good to see their attackers being very patient in their approach to the circle. So no long bombs went into Bryce then.
Three goals the difference.
So again, the attackers just kept caught off the circle, but the Sapphires' defense had just come off a little bit. Oh,
that was desperate by Kedic. Threw a body at the ball.
And they called time, just a little bit of wet on the floor. So the girls being cautious and smart playing. I think all of them looked like they needed a breather right then.
Yeah, even the Sapphires probably giving her a pat on the back saying thank you.
Yeah, good call. So this game is very important for Fury, but also the fact that on the other court, United are up by 6 against the Hawks. And the Stingrays are up by 8 against the Panthers. So I guess everything to play for the Furies. And I guess what happens if they lose this game, does that push them back into 5th or to 4th position? So I think for them, a win is definitely important for them to stay in that top 4.
So if North Shore win tonight, and you're right, if the Fury lose, then they might drop to 4th. But Sapphires...
Yeah, because Stingrays
will then come up against Fury. And it'll become a for and against thing. Which, to be honest, Fury have got a pretty good one at the moment, so they might be safe. But again, it comes back to mass, and that's not how you want your season to be decided, is it?
Yeah, 100%. You know, the goals for and against, and this game is a close game, whereas the other two are pushing out a few more goals. So everything to play for. And again, the Fury attacking, just getting stuck on that transfer slice. That's good defensive pressure from the back end. But again, Jamie Mann finds that space and is confident to give that ball into Chrissy Bryce.
Her experience makes a lot of difference in that attacking line.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that it's just opening up that play.
Cantwell on her own for the centre pass. Now Miller.
So
comes off the hands of Radford and into O'Keefe's.
Yeah, just a bit of misunderstanding that attacking. I think Marshall came out too early. She realised and just clogged that space. So she needs to hold her time a little bit more and just be patient and wait. And give the attackers a bit more space at the edge of the circle. Oh, did she run into...
Chrissy Bryce holding her spot strong in the air. And there she goes, right in front of the post.
And again, the Fury just nicking back at that scoreline, so they're back within 1. Everything to play for tonight.
Strong and hard to man. Nice combo between these two middies. Now on the edge, O'Keefe feeds to Bryce. And here she goes. Pulls the trigger, makes it through.
Yeah, that was better ball movement from the Fury attack end. And you can see Brooke Muller looking a bit more fatigued there. A bit of a grimace on her face. So I'll be interested to see if she finishes off this game. She's kind of like shuffling through the court currently. Oh, great presentation from Cantwell at the top. Just overcooked that pass. And good rebound by Marshall.
So just watching that score, United only up over the Hawks 46-44 now. 46-45, so that lead slowly disappearing.
Oh, great interception by Merville from the back of that centre pass. So here come the Sapphires again. Annie Miller didn't like what she saw. She went backward and played, which is very smart.
Penalty here.
Oh, and a great feed. Top of the circle, her favourite spot, it seems.
Marshall did well to push off and find space at the right moment. And Lawrence here with the centre pass for the Sapphires. So Cantwell comes back to the mid-court. Miller to Lawrence, looking in. No good options. Oh, they bounce to Cantwell, who just pops outside, and Marshall strong. Now steadies for the shot.
And that was a great finish by Marshall under the post, and that puts the Manly back up by 3. So Fury sent a pass.
20 seconds to play till the final break. Bradford, oh, she had pressure behind her, and it off-put the pass to Mann.
Yeah, just a misread.
Misread.
Misread. I'm like a midriff.
Mid-court?
Yeah, mid-court pass, mid-court. Oh, not enough time to get rid of it.
Time ticks down as we get tongue-tied here. So Manly up by 3. They're led by 2 at the halftime break, and we were level 16 apiece at the quarter break. United still only up over the Hawks by 1. And they've still got time on their clock. They've still got 15 seconds. So we're watching them now. It looks like they're going to have a penalty to level things up heading into the final break. Yep, Miller takes the Hawks to 46. So 46 apiece in that game.
And yeah, it's interesting because Hawks have they've got on Ali Miller, they've got on Kira Austin from the Giants, they've got Claire O'Brien, and they've got Taylor Davies playing. So their front end's firing. So it'd be interesting to know whether they change that in the second half, and this is why the gaps got closer.
Meanwhile, up on that other court, the Stingrays comfortably leading the Panthers 45-30. So they look like they're going to chug on with that and hopefully take a win tonight. Meanwhile, the Hart and Sparks, that's a good game too. Only 1 goal difference, 41-40. So still plenty to play for in this round 14 night at the show court.
Yeah, and all teams fighting for, 3 teams fighting for that top 4 position. So see who gets in there. So Hawks are happy and Central Coast Hart are happy because they're sitting more comfortably there.
All right, well, we're going to take a little break and get ready for the final 15 minutes of play. We'll be back with you shortly. Just 3 goals put Manly up over the Fury 50-47. Don't forget the Fury in 3rd spot at the moment. Lots to play for. A semi-final spot, momentum as they hopefully head in. And don't forget it's also Megan O'Keefe's 50th game, so they'll want to give one of their loyal Fury players a win for her to remember. But Sapphires starting with the centre here for the final quarter.
Yeah, but only 1 change for the Fury. They just changed the positions of Alongi and Matilda McDonald. Already Matilda McDonald up with an interception. Oh, and she's gone offside.
Off the foot, and then unhappy that she was caught offside too.
That's a coach killer.
She's still confused.
I thought she actually stopped just before, but it looked like, yeah, it did look like she actually stopped. Just before the line.
We need one of those Hawkeye things that looks at the line. Oh.
Potential ankle injury there. So Antrix didn't like that. So Holly O'Shaughnessy being brave enough and just having a look. So
2 Sapphires out of play. The ball into Freketic is good. Overarching on that right-hand side. 1 goal each for the quarter. Fake from Miller, sees her go to the opposite side of the court with Cantwell. Now she heads to Marshall, 1 foot inside that circle, swinging. Now Lawrence on the edge with a penalty and feeding into Marshall straight under the post. That looks really easy, Sonia.
Yeah, that was a good pass by Britt Lawrence. But again, she's grimacing on this centre pass, so she looks like she's struggling. She's not liking something there.
Freketic's copping a lot of heat tonight.
Yeah, she's just getting hit on every take. So I think the Sapphire defenders definitely need to tidy up.
Bryce solid inside that circle. Hand from Radford there.
Yeah, it's a lot of whistles. So I think both teams, as these girls are getting fatigued, their play and their body position is getting a bit sloppy and they're causing silly contacts and structure, stuff they weren't doing at the beginning of the game. So I think both teams just need to tidy up on these contacts, get off the body, give themselves more space to land as well, because it'll get quite dangerous out there.
Okay, Freketic sharing the ball here.
Yeah, just being patient as the defenders are doubling back on Chrissy Bryce, so they're not liking the ball into her, but the one-on-one they'll definitely give.
Freketic, they're backing up the clubs.
Yeah. Good backup. Shooter to shooter, I think that was.
You're happy when a player like that backs you up and you realise you haven't lost the ball. Cantwell to Lawrence in the air. Strong landing. Now Miller looking to feed. Gets it straight to Marshall.
Again, Miller where she likes it at that top of the circle.
So what can Tilly McDonald do here to stop that feed into Marshall? Can she come from behind, maybe mix things up?
Yeah, she needs to change up what she's doing, but also it's the pressure being put out on Miller at the front. You know, out there's a responsibility for the wing defences and the goal defences to stop those feeds and get Ali Miller off the top of the circle. That's where she's most dangerous. Oh, 1 leg from Chrissy Bryce and great finish.
3 goals, still the difference. Hands from Iyongi, sees it over the sideline.
So Radford at the top, just dropping back on the double. Big hands, pressure. They don't like what they see. They swing it to try and open up the circle. Again, don't like what they see in the circle. Great ball to Cantwell under the post.
Driving on the baseline, Cantwell finishes the effort.
Yeah, and it was good for her to pop in onto that.
Now they're up by 4. That lead creeping out by 1. Freketic comes back to Radford, now with man in the goal third. O'Keefe looking in, goes to Freketic on the edge.
Yeah, another contact called by Merville, so she's just getting caught on the body of Freketic.
Just inside, Freketic offloading, and Bryce takes them back within 3. It's tight times, 11 minutes before the end of this match. And Miller's done a lot of work off the ball tonight. She's been impressive for a young under-23s player.
Yeah, she has. She's done well. She's placed the ball very well into Georgia Marshall.
Quick work, Lawrence to Cantwell.
And that was a big shot by Cantwell. Just to keep their lead and push them out to 4.
Oh, good contest there between Johns and Mann. But it was a fair little bit of contact. So Iyongi with the penalty. Oh, again Freketic getting cleaned up. She might be sore tonight.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think Merville's just letting her know that she's got a game on her hands. Free the difference and Manly's centre pass.
10 minutes to play. Miller in the air for that centre pass.
Oh.
Fury players running into each other all over the court.
Everybody's on everything here.
Miller in the pocket. Loopy pass in. And Marshall elegantly takes the ball, steps back, puts it through the net.
That was good positioning by Jamie Mann to hold her position there off the centre pass. Just using her body to create a screen for herself.
Free pass Fury. Freketic opts to go to the edge.
Yeah, but just find space. So Freketic loses her body very well to find space under the post, and great finish by her. So Fury just need to keep nicking away at this score and just trying to get a bit more turnovers.
Oh, Iyongi.
And that was well read by Claire Yongi there.
Like a thief in the night.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it's something that Fury definitely needs. So let's hope they reward her for that, and I think they will through Bryce.
That's what Sonia was speaking about, turnover. So crucial, being able to convert points. Man, quick work to O'Keefe. Looks in, waits for Freketic to come through with the front cut. Oh, I was going to say if not replay, so that's lucky.
Yeah, just ball into hands, and the Fury are back in it, just won the difference.
How quickly a game can change.
Yep, and like we said, Fury got everything to play for, so Radford just off the inch there. Tilly McDonald just getting caught, stuck on the back of Georgia Marshall. Take one more step and come around, and I think that's what Claire Young was doing better in that circle against Georgia Marshall. So it's interesting to see why they switched it between those two. Oh, great fake by Man into Bryce, and Fury are hanging on to this.
I like that play by them. Looking up at the other court, Hawks are leading by 51-50 over United, and Stingray still up front over the Panthers, 52-33.
Yeah, so definitely the Fury bench will be happy if United go down, and Stingrays also, so it might push them up into fourth position.
Well, the Hawks too, with a win tonight if Central Coast were to lose, and it doesn't look like that might happen at this stage. They're currently 50 up over the Sparks 44, but they could still mind the minor premiership too, so Hawks have got plenty to play for, as Freketic cops some more heat from Maddie Melville.
Yeah, and I think Freketic uses her body very well when she takes the ball, way she positions, protects herself. So she's a very smart, experienced player, and I think Melville's got to change her position where she's coming in. She's kind of riding Angie's back a little bit. She needs to come off and give her space, maybe come around the other side, and she'll probably get this ball cleaner.
Lawrence swings to Miller. Two shooters trying to come through.
Pass. And great shooter ball from Cottle to Georgia Marshall.
So Manly very quickly up by 2. Man looking over, instead goes laterally to O'Keefe. Coming back inside the goal third. Bryce is in the pocket. You don't often hear that.
Yeah, but
nice triangle.
Yeah, and it was a great swing by Bryce. Smart play to open up Ange Freketic under the post.
1 goal. And Fury turnover from the centre pass.
And the crowd liked that one, didn't they?
Little gift here. Let's see if they convert.
Oh, doesn't like what they see, so Fury just slow on their progression through court. That was a great drive by Man to cause the contact.
Yongi looks into the goal third. Man finds Freketic. Bouncing on the edge. No one to feed to though, they go to the top.
And this is good defensive pressure by the Sapphires, just confusing the space for Megan O'Keefe, didn't know what to give it. And I reckon Megan O'Keefe probably just thrown that in the air and Bryce would have got that, but it's that confidence, it's the fact that the defenders put doubt in her mind.
No look pass, Johns to O'Shaughnessy. Lawrence strong and hard.
That was a
finds
big ball.
Cantwell, and she gets it straight to Marshall inside the circle.
Yeah, and that was a good hold by Georgia Marshall. And like I said before, Tilly McDonald's just getting caught on the back of Georgia just to keep her feet coming around a bit more.
So we could have seen the two teams go level then, but again, some smart defensive play from the Sapphires. Keep them up by 1. Oh.
And the unusual miss shot by Bryce under the post, but she gets her own rebound and finishes off, so that's good on her, keeping her team in the game. So again, Georgia Marshall just coming out of the circle a bit too soon. She probably just needs to hold her time in a bit more. Doesn't need to help. And Cantwell again on that baseline, finding some space.
Missed shot though, and Iyongi straight on the loose ball.
Right, the Fury know they need to capitalise on this. So we'll see. So we've seen like what they've been doing is actually then holding onto the ball for too long. So a misplay. So they actually need to take their time and just play the ball down with confidence, which is what they've been doing most of the game.
Lucky that it came off the hand of a Sapphire for a throw in, and they go straight to Bryce. I know she's reliable.
Yeah, and that was a great ball by Jamie Mann. Scores are all level now, so Fury will be happy.
4 minutes 30 to play, 61. on the scoreboard for each team. Clock still winding down here as Fury take a penalty.
Again, no one home, so the feed is just off the top of the circle edge, but Man again goes to the top, so that works for her. So she just went off task a little bit, but now she's found her groove again and finding Bryce under the post. So Fury up by 1. And that was a good ball in to Georgia Marshall under the post. She's done well to hold on to that. Just keeping Man in the game, everything to play for.
Man through traffic for the centre pass. Running back is O'Keefe. Smart positioning of the body. She gets it to Friketic, and that ball straight up in the air. Bryce taking the Fury back up by 1.
Yep, so it's definitely Manly's game here to lose. So they're going to just have to hold on and just keep playing for this and hope for a break by the Fury team. That was great to find Campbell under the post. And
missed.
The defender's sitting there waiting for that rebound. Oh, Jamie Johns came in for that fly. She came from a long distance away. She saw that ages ago. So the pressure put on by the Manly Sapphires, and Fury got no one. That's a big ball from Matilda McDonald to Megan O'Keefe. And again, overcooked. So I think both teams are just finding the pressure and going away from their usual game.
Less than 3 minutes to play here, and both coaches must feel their blood pressure rising.
It's like a pressure cooker. Players just need to settle down what was working for them before. That was a better ball by Annie Miller to Georgia Marshall on the post and brings them back level. So Fury centre pass.
Quick little look up at the other court. Hawks leading United 60-52, so that's a big lead now considering United were in front before. Radford, tries to give it to Friketic. The pass is overcooked straight over the baseline.
So good defensive pressure from Fury. I see a bit of energy here.
Miller to Melville. Overhead to Cantwell. Strong body is coming through this Sapphires side.
Yeah, and they're playing patient and they're playing short. So hopefully it pays off, and it does. Cantwell under the post.
Strong in front. And they're back up by 1. 2 minutes to play here. Centre up their sleeve. Clock still winding down as Lawrence collects the ball. She doesn't look great though, does she?
No, she looks like she's grimacing, so I don't know if she's in a bit of pain there. Oh, just
one by Tilly
missed.
McDonald.
One
and back
by Merville. A second chance, so just both teams just playing under this pressure.
But that was the chance to take it back level. And with this goal here, Manly go up by 2. So a minute to play. Minute and a half, I should say. Things are starting to get difficult here for the Fury. O'Keefe.
Yeah, they've been very patient. A big ball into Bryce under the post. And that big ball into Bryce with the mismatch of Holly and the height actually does work. It's interesting to see why they're so hesitant to give that, just trusting themselves. That's a great ball to Annie Miller on the top of the circle. Georgia Marshall moved an inch closer, I think, there.
Miller and Marshall, 1-2.
She'll get a second chance at that shot.
So 52 seconds to play. You can see the under-23s Fury watching on from at the top of the court. This is desperate times.
So 40 seconds to go. Fury could probably get...
O'Keefe to Man.
Yeah, they
in
want
the
a quick
air,
goal.
Bryce.
Great ball to Bryce.
Wins ball. Missed shot too. The clock is still ticking down, so that's important.
Yeah, so a bit of urgency needed from the Fury team. So they need one turnover to draw this game level.
Sapphires centre. Miller straight out. Coming back to Johns. Possession is key here. Hang on to possession. And you might as well win the game. On the edge, Miller finds Campbell. Fairway out. She's going to put the shot up.
And it's going to hit short.
Missed with the youngie. Oh, it's with Marshall. And that's going to be this game. Manly, they win this match, the final match of their season, 67-65. And that's a tough way for the Fury.
Yeah, and that's a little upset there. Fury will definitely be glad the fact that United are down to the Hawks on the other court, but Stingrays are now up 58-41, so they're going to put a spanner in the works. So we're going to see what happens with this score. Who pushes who out of this top 4?
Very well could see Stingrays jump United, but you're right. United have actually done them a favour by losing the match for the Fury.
Yes, definitely.
And so who stood out for you this time, Son?
I think definitely down at the back end, I think Holly O'Shaughnessy did a great job. She was up against 3 different shooters, and she held strong, and she got Chrissy Bryson, who's an experienced player, like I said, and she was able to get lots of balls and lots of tips. So I think she did a good job at the back for that Sapphires team.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up in front of the camera. Don't go anywhere. The Sapphires win this final match of 2019 by 2 goals over the Fury. Tegan, we did want to talk to Holly, but we roped you in because she's had to run off for night shift. Yeah. How would you describe that match? It was pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had nothing to lose. We just wanted to go out there and have fun for our last match together. And yeah, I think we proved ourselves out there today.
You had lots of under-23s players with you as well, so they really stepped up tonight.
Yeah, you know, I think us older girls.
Yeah.
20.
It's true, the older girls now.
Yeah, it's been a long season. I think we've had a few major injuries, so the 20s girls are just helping out and stepping up when we need them.
Yeah, but I said before, I thought you played really well. It was good to see you out there with your sister. And I think as the combination went on, after the first 5 minutes, you guys solidified and caused all sort of havoc in that circle. So it was good to see you guys playing together.
Yeah, I actually really like playing with Holly. She talks a lot more than I do, so she's probably better than me. I'm just taller, I think.
Yeah, but then you came into your own. You actually got balls, you got tips, deflections, interceptions. You were hustling out there. So I think you did really well. So it's good to see you playing.
Thanks, son.
Yeah.
We don't often get to see you play with your sister in the circle, do we?
No, like we did a few at the beginning of the season, but normally Steph McGugan is goal defence and I play goalkeeper, but she's been injured at the moment, so yeah, I've had to play goal defence. It's good for me, like I need to learn that position as well.
Yeah, get your lungs working a little bit. But you did a great job out there, and I think you put great hustle. You were tipping, touching on everything, so well done.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for chatting with us, Tegan. Coming up on the show court behind us, the under-23s, the Fury and the Sapphires are coming up very shortly. It's first against third, so it's a little preview of what might come in the finals. Stick with us. We look forward to having you accompany them.